Astral projection, also known as astral travel, and spiritual journey, is a term used to describe an intentional out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a subtle body, which is an aspect of the human body that is neither solely physical nor solely spiritual. This is also known as an astral body or a body of light. Through this, consciousness can travel away from the physical body throughout the astral plane. The idea of astral projection goes back to ancient times and is known in many cultures. It is sometimes connected to dreams and forms of meditation. There are numerous accounts of astral travel in different religious traditions. Teachings in ancient Egypt present the soul as having the ability to hover outside the physical body by way of the subtle body. In Japanese mythology, a living ghost is a creation of the soul of a living person separate from the body. Judaic and Christian views say that the subtle body is attached to the physical body using a psychic silver cord. While there have been cases of patients having experiences suggestive of astral projection from brain stimulation treatments and hallucinogenic drugs, no known scientific evidence shows that astral projection is an objective phenomenon. Clairvoyance, which comes from the French words for clear and vision, is the claimed ability to gain information that would be considered impossible to get through scientifically proven sensations. This kind of information includes people and events that are distant in space and time. Clairvoyance can be divided into three classes: precognition, retrocognition, and remote viewing, which, respectively, deal with seeing events in the future, past, and present. Scientific research says that clairvoyance is explained by the results of things such as confirmation bias, fraud, hallucination, and wishful thinking, and is regarded as a pseudoscience. Cryokinesis is the ability to control ice or cold with the mind. It can be seen in fiction as a superpower, and is used by popular characters such as Elsa from Disney's Frozen and Ice King from the cartoon series Adventure Time. Telepathy, which comes from the ancient Greek words for distant and perception, is the alleged transfer of information from one person's mind to another's without any apparent sensory channels or physical interaction. There have been several types of telepathy suggested. Latent telepathy is the transfer of information with a gap in time between transmission and reception. Emotive telepathy is the transfer of kinesthetic sensations through altered states. Superconscious telepathy refers to accessing the collective wisdom of the human species for knowledge. There is a well-known myth in psychological literature that twins are able to use telepathy between each other, but experiments with twins had shown that there was no evidence of telepathy. Varieties of tests had produced no scientific evidence that the ability exists at all, and is explained as a result of fraud and self-delusion. Levitation is the claimed ability to raise an object or living thing into the air by mystical means. Various religions have claimed the use of levitation amongst their followers, such as Buddhism, Christianity, and Hinduism. There is no scientific evidence of this ability occurring, and alleged cases can usually be explained by fraud and deception. Dowsing is the ability to locate water and other materials and objects without using a scientific instrument. What are usually used in dowsing are Y-shaped twigs or pairs of L-shaped rods, which are known as dowsing rods. When using the twig, the stem is pointed forwards, and when a discovery is made, the twig is expected to dip or twitch. When a discovery is made with the L-shaped rods, they move in synchrony, either crossing over or swinging apart. In the scientific community, the movement of dowsing rods are accepted as unconscious muscle movement rather than an actual ability. Petrification, which comes from the ancient Greek word for rock, is the ability to turn living things to stone by simply looking them in the eye. This ability is a common theme in folklore and mythology, and a well-known character with this ability is Medusa from Greek mythology. Psychometry is the claimed ability to gain accurate information about an object's history through physical contact. Supporters say that objects give off energy fields that contain information. There is no scientific evidence that this ability exists, and skeptics say that alleged successes of psychometry come from cold reading and confirmation bias. Curse refers to an expressed wish that some type of adversity or misfortune will attach to a person, people, a place, or an object. It could come from a supernatural or spiritual power, or from a spell by magic or witchcraft, in which case the curse can be called a hex or a jinx. Reversing or eliminating a curse often requires complicated rituals or prayers. It is a popular belief that curses are connected to the violation of mummified corpses or of the mummies themselves. Curses have been used as plot devices in various media, in which characters place curses over other characters, such as in Romeo and Juliet, Shrek, and Sleeping Beauty. Bilocation. Bilocation is the ability of an individual or object to be or appear to be located into different places at the same time. A wide variety of historical and religious contexts have reports of phenomena involving bilocation. Ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras was said to have this ability, as well as several prominent Hindu gurus. Skeptics have written that there is no scientific evidence to prove that bilocation is a real phenomenon, listing self-delusion, hoaxing, and delusion as explanations to cases of this ability happening. Hydrokinesis. Hydrokinesis is the ability to manipulate water with one's mind. It is a type of telekinesis. Think of it as how waterbenders from the cartoon series Avatar: The Last Airbender are born with the ability to move water by focusing. Inedia, which is Latin for fasting, is the ability to live without eating or drinking water. This supposed ability contradicts with documented studies on the effects of food restriction, which show fasting for long periods leads to starvation, dehydration, and eventually death. Several people who claim to have this ability and attempted to prove it have died, and scientific societies strongly advise against it. Prophecy. Prophecy is the ability to foretell events without the use of reasoning from known facts. This is a feature of many cultures and belief systems and contains divine will or law. Skeptics say that many apparent fulfilled prophecies can be explained as coincidences, especially if those prophecies are unclear. Also, since many people make large amounts of prophecies, the chances that some of them are correct are much higher. Time travel. Time travel is the ability to escape the current flow of time by jumping to another point like the past or future. This is widely recognized in philosophy and science fiction. In fiction, time travel is usually aided by the use of a device or machine, simply called a time machine. Some ancient myths depict someone traveling forward in time. Hindu mythology has a story of a king traveling to heaven and coming back to see that many ages have passed. A Japanese story tells of a young fisherman who visits an undersea palace for 3 days and comes back to his village to find that 300 years have passed. A common objection to the idea of time travel is the grandfather paradox, which states that if someone went back in time and killed their grandfather, that would prevent the existence of that person's mother or father, and therefore the existence of that person, which would prevent that person from going back in time in the first place. Making someone travel forwards in time is not possible with current technology, and traveling backwards in time might be possible if exact solutions are found in general relativity. Mediumship. Mediumship is the ability to mediate communication between spirits of the dead and living human beings. People who do this are known as mediums. They say that they can either listen to and relay messages from spirits or let spirits control their bodies to speak directly to people. Scientists have considered mediumship to be the result of fraud and psychological factors, and when there is no fraud, it can be explained by hypnotism and suggestion. All the way back from its beginnings to modern times, mediumship and its practices have had many instances of fraud and trickery. Teleportation. Teleportation is the ability to transfer from one place to another without navigating the physical space between these places. It is similar to time travel, but instead of time, teleportation is about traveling through space. No known physical mechanism would allow this ability to happen, with the closest real example of teleportation being quantum teleportation, which transfers information instead of matter like regular teleportation does. Pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis is the ability to create and control fire or heat with the mind. While there have been many claims of using this ability throughout history, no conclusive evidence supports the existence of pyrokinesis, with many cases being hoaxes. Materialization. Materialization is the creation of matter from unknown sources. The existence of this ability has not been confirmed by scientific experiments, and numerous cases of fraudulent materialization demonstrations have been exposed. Invisibility. Invisibility is the ability to make oneself be unable to be seen, which is known as becoming invisible. In fiction, this can be done with the help of magical objects such as rings, cloaks, and amulets, along with magical potions. An issue arising with the ability to become invisible is the question of whether or not the clothes someone is wearing would also become invisible when that person becomes invisible. Telekinesis. Telekinesis is the ability to manipulate an item or living thing without physical interaction, like controlling objects with one's mind. Experiments to prove the existence of this ability have been criticized for lacking proper controls and repeatability. The idea of telekinesis violates several established laws in physics, and a high standard of evidence has been demanded by scientists to prove that this ability is real. Magicians have successfully simulated the abilities of telekinesis, such as object movement and spoon bending. Psychic surgery. Psychic surgery is the ability to remove disease or disorder from within or over body tissue without the use of any type of medical tool. The Federal Trade Commission described this as a total hoax, with skeptics classifying it as sleight of hand tricks with positive results resulting from placebo effects. Xenoglossy. Xenoglossy, which derives from the ancient Greek words for foreigner and language, is the ability to suddenly learn a foreign language without study or research. In Christianity, it is said that when the first disciples of Jesus Christ gathered together, there was an episode of inspired communication that allowed them to express themselves in different languages that could be understood by strangers. There have also been claims that mediums were able to suddenly speak foreign languages in the 19th century. There is no scientifically admissible evidence supporting the claimed instances of xenoglossy, and it can be explained by how memories of a language acquired earlier in life can come back to the consciousness in certain circumstances. Mind control. Mind control, also known as brainwashing, is the ability to control someone's mind. Mind control can allow unwanted thoughts and ideas into someone's mind, as well as change that person's attitude and behavior. Illegal experiments were conducted by the CIA and Department of Defense to develop practical mind control techniques, with the full results being unknown. Shapeshifting. Shapeshifting is the ability to physically transform oneself naturally into anything, such as animals or objects. Popular creatures in folklore that can shapeshift are werewolves and vampires. In mythology, many gods and demons can shapeshift as well, such as the Greek god Zeus and the Norse god Loki. Shapeshifting can be involuntary, where one is bound to a new form, like a prince who is forced into a bear shape. When it's voluntary, shapeshifting can be used for escape and liberation, like a princess turning into a bear to flee a situation. Thanks for watching.